Yeah.
And I would say libraries have changed a lot since we were kids.
Okay.
And even more so since like our parents were kids. So they really are community spaces. We do lend more than books. We have DVDs and CDs and things like that.
Yeah.
But really, it's now more about what else does the library offer.
That's cool.
Coming to you straight from Fremont, California, this is the Fremont Podcast, dedicated to telling the stories of the past and present of the people and places of the city of Fremont, one conversation at a time.
Hello, Fremont. This is
Sheena and Remy. You are listening to episode
79 of the Fremont Podcast.
Now, here's your host, Ricky B.
Your name was Becky
Machetta.
Machetta. Okay,
Yes.
very good. And how long have you been working for the library system?
So this library system, I've been working since 2015.
Okay.
I started out in Newark, but I've been with Fremont and the neighborhood libraries prior to being here since 2017.
Okay, wow.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
I've been at Fremont, Maine since 2022. So
Okay.
I've only just 9 months, I think, or so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I was just talking to my son before I came here, and I was asking him, or I told him, I said, I'm going to the library to do an interview. And he's like, do they have a librarian? You know, like, and I think that he was specifically thinking he's reading books about, you know, going to a library and there's a librarian, and I don't know, he has, but how would you classify like what you do? You're the manager of the library system here, or the main library.
Mm-hmm.
And then how would you classify what you do? And I told him, I said, I think they have lots of librarians. I think almost everybody there is probably considered a librarian. So what do you do? And then, you know, who is your team, or who else do we have working here at the library?
So I am a librarian. I do have my master's in library and information science degree, which most librarians here do have that degree. But I, as a branch manager here, I am the supervisor for the supervisors of the teams.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people on my team here. And so I kind of I kind of coordinate everybody to work together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And just
Wow.
do all these fun, amazing things here.
Yeah. So what made you want to be a librarian? I mean, that seems like a niche thing where people have like an interest in that, especially if they're going to get a master's degree in it. What is it that caught your interest about doing this job?
Well, I've never worked anywhere other than a library.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I started when I was a teenager in a library. I've worked in libraries over 20 years now.
Wow.
So I don't know anything other than libraries, but that wasn't my intention when I started. It was just like a job that I got when I was 16, shelving books. And then I was, I wanted to be a teacher. And then the recession and all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So it didn't really bode well, but librarians and teachers are actually very similar.
Okay.
So it was
Yeah.
kind of a natural path once I had some really good mentors when I worked in Hayward.
That's cool.
And so it was just like, why don't you go to library school? And that's what I did.
Yeah. If you were to imagine yourself as a teacher, like in the future, like what would you imagine your best and most favorite teaching situation to be?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I think it would be fun to go on all the field trips.
Oh, there you go.
Like, because, I remember in my kindergarten class, we went on a field trip almost every week.
Oh,
It was wild.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. And so I think, and then we have class visits here that are field trips. So we get to see all the kids from the school.
I was going to say, I think growing up, almost every year we took a field trip to the library.
Yeah.
And that was, I think the teachers had a great idea in mind in doing that. I don't know how much I actually took away from that, and maybe that the problem is either I didn't go to the right library, or maybe I wasn't told the right things, and that's part of the reason why we're having this conversation today, is because the library in general is just a place you find books that you can check out, right? And that's true of this library, but there's so much more to this library than just checking out books. Is that right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I would say libraries have changed a lot since we were kids.
Okay.
And even more so since like our parents were kids. So they really are community spaces. We do lend more than books. We have DVDs and CDs and things like that.
Yeah.
But really, it's now more about what else does the library offer.
That's cool. That's cool. First of all, I don't want you to check my my library profile, because I think I've got overdue books or something. I'm sure that I do. So So I've had that issue since I was a kid.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about that is that at Alameda County Library, we are fine free now, and we have been since 2019. So
Wow.
you don't ever have to pay a fine. You only have to pay anything if you lose it or you damage it.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Yeah, I do know that I had a very large fine when I was a kid because I think I had a book for a couple of years or something like that. And so I had to pay probably the cost of the book and then like 3 times that or something.
yeah, we don't want to do that here.
It actually made me not want to go back to the library because I felt so embarrassed. But there was just a side note. There was that one library, the library fine story. I think it's the Guinness Book of World Records, like the largest library fine or something like that. And it was like thousands of dollars from like hundreds of years ago. And it was found in like a family estate or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually one of the reasons why we got rid of fines, because we want to break those barriers. We don't want people to say I don't want to go to the library. I can't, afford to go to the library when everything is free. Yeah.
So on the front, and I guess given the kind of libraries that we grew up in, the Alameda County and specifically the Fremont, Main Street or the main library, not the Main Street, but the main library has more to offer than just finding books and checking out books. So tell me some of the things that people can find here at the library.
Well, we have a lot of information, but so it's not just the Fremont, Maine. We actually have 4 libraries in Fremont.
Okay. So we have 4 libraries around Fremont.
Yeah. In Fremont. So there's Fremont, Maine, of course, on Stevenson. We're open 7 days a week.
Okay.
But then there's also the neighborhood libraries. So Centerville Library in North Fremont.
Okay.
Just off of Fremont Boulevard.
Okay.
Open.
And you said that was behind Lucky's. I think we were just talking about that. Okay.
It's at the Brookvale Shopping Center behind Lucky's.
Okay.
And they're open 4 days a week. There's the Niles Library in historic Niles.
Yep. And it's that's not open as often, but it is a fun little library if you can get down in there.
Yeah, it's definitely a neighborhood library. It's very unique. It's absolutely beautiful in there.
Awesome.
And they're open on Fridays.
Okay.
And then there's Irvington, which is now not just a library, it's also a makerspace.
Wow.
So it's called
makerspace.
Yeah, the Irvington Makerspace Garage is what we're calling it.
Wow. Well, tell me about that. Let's start there. Tell me about that. What is that like?
So pre-pandemic, Irvington Library was only open 1 day a week, and during the pandemic, it was closed. We were only operating out of a couple of our branches, and it was kind of a time to revitalize and re-envision what the library in Irvington looks like. And we reopened it as a makerspace.
Wow.
If you know, Irvington Library is near Irvington High School, and they have a big makerspace program
with the high school.
At the high school. And so it was kind of like, well, we also have this space that they could use.
That's cool.
Yeah, now Irvington Makerspace Garage, they have a tool lending library there, which we'll talk, I think, probably more about the tool
absolutely.
lending.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, but they also have where you can right now go on and reserve space to use a sewing machine, our die cutter machine, and a robotics field.
Wow.
And coming soon, there'll be, you could use our 3D printers and other things there.
That's incredible. So these are things that unlike checking out a book in the library where you can take it home, these are things that you would just be able to go in and kind of a check-in at a time slot or something like that and take advantage of each of these different maker stations, I guess.
Yeah.
That's cool. So what kind of things do you envision people being able to use those different stations for? I mean, like personal projects or business projects, or what kind of things are...
All of the above.
Yeah.
But if you're like, I don't have a sewing machine at home, but I want to hem my pants, or I want to make a cute little purse or something, you can use that at the library.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, is that so? Is there an extra cost to that? Because I know when you check out books here, it's just checking it out. You just have your name in the system and everything. But there, is it extra cost?
No, everything is free.
Wow.
So that's one of the big perks about the library. Everything we do is free.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
So the sewing machine, 3D, you said 3D printers coming.
Yeah. So not yet. We're staff are still making sure everything's running, with the appointment system, and then making sure we have all the materials needed, the training for staff to be able to know how to fix it or help somebody if they need help.
That's cool. Wow. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned the tool. Let's see, it's not tool rental again. Tell me about the tool checkout program, and then what are some of the other offerings that we find at the library here in Fremont?
Yeah, so there's actually two tool lending libraries. Okay. One is at Irvington, and that one focuses more on makering and tinkering. So you can get things like a drill and drill bits, or a wrench and pliers, an air compressor and things like that. And so those you can borrow for 3 weeks and return them. Okay. There's no cost associated with it unless you never return it, of course. And so there's that tool library that focuses on makering and tinkering. And then there's the garden tool lending library at Centerville Library.
Okay. Wow.
And that ties into the garden we have there.
Yeah, let's talk about that. There's a garden?
There is a garden.
What?
Yeah, honestly, we have so many things and it kind of ties in together.
Yeah.
But so when I was at Centerville, we started a garden in 2019. Centerville is a small library. It has a beautiful, space, but most of the space that the library has is actually outside.
Okay.
And it's because it's all enclosed.
Okay.
But there's a big windows at the library, and they kind of were looking out on this sad little corner, and it was like, what can we do?
Yeah.
So we got containers and soil, and we started planting things. And we partnered with Leaf here in Fremont.
Yeah.
And
we haven't interviewed them yet, but I've interacted with them a few times, and I'd love to get them on the podcast. But yeah, Leaf, they're doing
they're fantastic.
Yeah,
and so in 2019, they started teaching classes at the library for kids and some adults, mostly kids programs.
Yeah.
But it was like how to do this, and what is like planting a container garden for salad, things like that.
That's cool.
We'll be right back. You can hear the rest of this conversation in just a moment.
The Ohlone Flea Market is back. In fact, we release these podcast episodes on Fridays, and that means the next Ohlone Flea Market is tomorrow, Saturday, July 8th. The Ohlone Flea Market happens on the second Saturday of each month, from 9 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon on Ohlane's Fremont campus. The flea market is going to happen, rain or shine. If you go to Ohlane's Fremont campus and head toward Lot C, as in, can you believe there's free parking? There's free parking. This Saturday, July 8th, every second Saturday of each month, the Ohlone Flea Market, from 9 to 3.
Looking for a real estate agent who truly cares about their clients? Look no further than Jennifer Petroselli. With her wide-ranging knowledge of the real estate industry and expert negotiation skills, Jennifer goes above and beyond for her clients. Don't settle for a second-rate experience. Choose Jennifer Petroselli for a first-class real estate journey.
And now, back to our conversation.
And then in March 2020, I signed the paperwork for our Eagle Scout to do 3 raised beds at the library, and those were finally built in 2021.
Wow.
They just got a greenhouse, which was another Eagle project.
Yeah.
We've done programs with other organizations. 2022 Earth Day, we partnered with Dykes with Drills.
Wow.
And we have a composter,
Okay.
like a traditional hot composter, and a worm composter thing, and they helped us build them with our community members. Just like
cool.
Some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And now there are, programs with our master gardeners there, some other local experts that we hire out to bring a free class to the library.
Wow, that's cool. So all of these people, all these different groups that you're connecting with, are they primarily responsible for these things? Or are they just like the raised beds or the greenhouse or whatever? Or are they setting it up for pretty much anybody in the community to be able to take advantage of?
Yeah, so library staff kind of helps maintain the garden, but with people, like they're at, volunteers to help. They have programs surrounding the garden, like moonlight gardening they did recently.
That's cool.
Yeah,
so you guys kind of like have the space for your use or for the use of being able to provide activities for the community.
Yes.
And then you're just partnering with these other groups to help get them set up and established and everything.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So what kind of things are you growing at the garden and in the greenhouse then?
Well, that's actually one of the other things that we do.
Okay.
We have monthly, we have these seed kits that we produce here at Fremont, Maine with our teen libraries. These seed kits have everything you need to be able to grow anything for that month's seed. So there's the seeds, there's a planting log, there's a recipe that is included.
Okay.
And then so we're growing those things at the library, plus a bunch of other stuff that we just have seeds for. And then so in 2021, I believe it was, we harvested 50 pounds of fava beans at the library, and we just gave those out to our community.
Wow,
so,
that's cool.
Yeah.
So these are, it sounds to me like there might be down the road another conversation maybe in 20 years when they'll say, oh, there's a gardener, and everyone knows that there's a gardener at the library, right?
Yeah. And then they started because they came to a library program or picked up our seed kit.
That's cool.
Yeah. These seed kits are done monthly, and so then I think this month's seed, which is the one you're holding, is kind of sold out, but it's free. But we're all out of those, and then at the beginning of the next month, we'll have our new seed.
So people can come by and they can get this kit, and then they have all the instructions that they need in order to be able to know how to plant it and use it. Are there people available to talk to directly if they have more questions then?
Yeah, we have an email address. So the team that creates this, we have an email address where people can contact us, ask questions, or send us photos of things that they've grown, things like that.
That's cool. Yeah. Wow, very good. So what else does a library have besides that? So we have the grab and grow seed kits. You've got the actual gardens at the Centerville Library. What else do we were talking about garden tools.
Yes, so garden tools. So Centerville also they have a garden tool lending library that also started this year in February, and they have manual or electric powered tools that you can use and borrow and then return.
Wow.
So anything from a weed whacker that is electric powered, not gas powered.
Right.
So it's part of a sustainability grant that we got.
Yeah.
And you can borrow it. It's like, I don't need to have a wheelbarrow at my house, but I need it for this one project.
Wow.
You get it from the library and then you return it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. So just to, so the listeners know how to find those, just go to aclibrary.org. And if you search in our catalog the word tool, you'll see all of the tools that are available.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So and those tools right now are primarily at the Centerville Library. That's not, you're not going to find them at the other branches right now.
Right. So they can only be picked up at each branch, so Irvington or Centerville, whichever tool it is. And you should return it to that branch also.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
I actually need to trim my bushes in front of my house because right now they are, they look horrible. So I don't have a hedge trimmer, and I was just thinking, do I have to buy one? And now I might actually try to go take advantage of this. Yeah.
Yeah. They open tomorrow.
Okay. So not
go
today.
Visit them.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So what else can we find at the library then? What are some of the other programs or some of the other opportunities that people find here?
Yeah. So we also have seed libraries where not just the seed kits, but you can actually but you can take, you need, so many seeds for your garden. You can borrow those from the library. So Centerville has a seed library since August 2020.
Wow.
And then we have a seed library coming very soon here at Fremont. We had it pre-COVID, but we haven't had any seeds in it. So coming soon.
That's cool. So what is that? How does that work then? It sounds to me like you're just giving seeds away. I mean, is there any kind of return on
we
that?
ask the community to bring back if they can harvest seeds from it. We provide information on how to harvest seeds.
Yeah.
And we just ask that if you have any seeds to donate back, we then can package them up and send them back out into the seed library.
That's cool. So where do you guys get the seeds from, apart from if nobody decides to do that, where do you guys get your seeds from?
So our friends at Dale Hardware actually donated a lot of seeds.
Awesome.
We do buy some seeds as well. So because we buy seeds for the seed kit, and then we just have bought extra and we just package those as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. Dale Hardware is really good at seen opportunities in the community to be able to contribute. So that's cool. That's
it's so
cool.
helpful to have that like resource right here in our community.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, what else? What are some of the other things that people might not be aware of that are at the library here in Fremont?
Yeah, so we actually just launched this in early June, so just a couple weeks ago.
I mean, we're recording this mid-June or almost late June, but yeah. So what is it?
The Memory Lab. So do you have old photos or like documents that you would like to scan?
Absolutely, yeah.
You can do that here at the library.
Wow. So you can digitize them, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so digitizing right now, only our scanning room is open, so you can scan old photos, you can scan negatives, things like that.
That's cool.
Here at the library.
Okay.
And hopefully soon we'll also open the audio-visual digitizing. So you can digitize a VHS.
No way.
Yes.
Wow. Do you have, so that's awesome. So right now, photos, documents, and then eventually like the AV stuff.
Yes.
And so that's like if somebody has a cassette tape and they want to have it put onto like a MP3 file or something like that. You'll have that. It's not available yet, but it will be available.
The audio visual is not available yet.
Yep.
That was like, well, we have this ready to go, the scanning room. So we launched that, and then hopefully soon we'll have, because we need to create like the guide of like how to use this.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about having like staff available the entire time.
Now, would that be something that people would have to like reserve a certain time slot as well? Because I can imagine people having like hundreds of VHS things and they just sit in there for hours if they have the time.
Yeah.
But would that be like there would be a time limit for that?
Yeah. And with the AV room, because it is in real time, like if you have a 4-hour video, you got to do it in real time. So we still need to work on the logistics for that.
Yeah.
It would be only available during our open hours.
Okay, yeah.
So, we're open 12 to 8 on a Monday. So you would have to do it during that time. But you just reserve the spot, you come in, use the material or the equipment, and then you walk away with a USB full of your memories.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. So, when I bought my very first camcorder, the one that I owned, my parents had one, but I had one. I wanted better quality, and this was before we had memory cards or any of these other things came out. So it was always some sort of like a tape of some sort. So I wanted kind of a higher end tape. But I also didn't want to do like full on. They had what they called DV, which was digital video, and it was on a smaller tape. And then they had Super 8, which was another type. But then they had Super. It was a digital 8 is what they called it, and it was like this camera that came out for just a little while, and I bought it, and I thought it was a great opportunity. I have like, I don't know, maybe 100 different tapes that have all these memories that I have, but the problem is I wanted to digitize them and I can't find anybody who has those. So what are the different types of video media that would be available for transfer? Would it just be VHS?
I don't actually know.
You don't know?
But
Okay.
I can ask my team and I'll email you.
That'd be great,
Yeah, when we do completely launch that, or the rest of it, we're calling it Memory Lab.
Okay,
So you're digitizing your
I
memories.
like that, Memory Lab.
Yeah, so once we have that, we are going to do a big push, and maybe I'll be like, hey, come interview me again.
That'd be great, yeah. Or, we can do an update, like a little blurb here or there. That would be awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I think that all of these things that you're talking about are just really special, unique, and you guys have a platform where you're reaching a lot of different people. And I think that one of the things about books is that it does inspire people. Like for my son, my son's an avid reader, and he gets inspired by what he reads to go out and do. And I think that it's really great for the library to say, hey, we're trying to inspire, inform, help people have bigger and better lives in that way. And now you're not only just providing the resource for the inspiration, but you're providing opportunities for them to kind of engage in all of that as well, which is really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So you mentioned you have a team, like you were talking about the team, the AV team, and you did get some of that information all figured out. So who's behind all of this? Like all the things that are happening that you're talking about, like, is that all you, or where's this all coming from?
Definitely not me. I have a good team. So here for specifically Memory Lab, we have a librarian who knows what he's doing in that department. And he's been working on like the guides.
Yeah.
For the seed kit team, we have people from that are interested in gardening that are at various libraries, and we all come together to create. When it comes to other little things that we're doing, there's other librarians in the system who are interested in whatever it may be.
That's cool.
And then they bring it to the library.
Wow. Yeah. Is there anything else that we're missing?
Yeah, there's actually.
We've got more?
Of course, there's more. Honestly, there's probably even more that I'm not going to talk about here. But one of the other things I wanted to show you was our partnership with the East Bay Regional Park District. And so you can check out this backpack. And it is called a Discover and Explore backpack. And these have a parking pass, a entry pass into our East Bay Regional Parks.
That is cool.
The backpack also includes binoculars. There's also some adventure guides, so you can go like Birds of California.
So you can actually check out a backpack that has all of these extra perks to them and like resources, including parking pass and wow, that's awesome. And you just check it out. That's
it's just
amazing.
Like it's like these all are popular. So you do have to put it on hold likely.
Sure.
This one here is actually on hold for somebody else. But we're not open yet. So I'll put it back on the shelf after.
Wow.
But you can request them and have them sent to your local branch. And then you can make a plan to go out to Lake Chabot or any of the other Coyote Hills, things like that.
Do you have to, you have to tell them what park you're going to?
No.
Like if I had a day and I wanted to go to Lake Chabot, but then I also know that at a certain time of the day, I wanted to go to Sunol or something like that. That's awesome.
You don't have to tell anybody anything, but like you can just put the parking pass in your car. They won't, I don't know if they ticket you, but they won't if you have the pass.
They will ticket you. Yes, they will ticket you. I don't know that I've ever been ticketed, but I've been in a situation where I thought I was going to get ticketed not because I was trying to evade the system. I just didn't know at that moment, this was years ago, what the system was.
Right.
So there was no one at the booth when I drove in, but I didn't know if it was, self check-in or whatever. So this just eliminates any of those questions, which is really great.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. This is really cool. So you have this arrangement with the East Bay park system.
Yeah, this actually started in, I think, 2018. And we have, I think, 25 for the entire system.
Wow.
So you can just put I want to go hiking in maybe a couple weeks. You put it on hold and it should probably get there, unless there's a lot of people after this podcast comes out that will put a hold on it. But so plan accordingly.
That's cool.
But yeah, you can check it out. It's just like you check it out like a book, and then bring it back once you're done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see you invested actually in high quality both binoculars and the backpack. So I worked for REI for like 5 years or almost 5 years. And so you got some pretty solid gear here. That's awesome.
No,
Very
we
nice.
wanted it to be durable and last. I don't know which ones were, because we have a various of colors of backpacks now, but some of them have been around for at least 5 years.
Wow,
so,
that's cool. Very cool. Well, I think it's good too to be able to provide that. I know that one of the things that when I was working for REI, and I actually started my own guide service for a little while. So we were taking people on nature walks, and we were taking people backpacking on nature experiences and stuff like that. And I think, and even just working for REI, you'd have people say, I want to go hiking to this particular place and I have nothing. What do I get? And you kind of start talking about the things that are important to have when you're out on the trail, and people kind of get overwhelmed and they're like, I don't know that I'm ready to invest in all of that at the moment. And this gives people a start, just having a nice backpack, having some binoculars, given them. And that's one of the things that I wanted to encourage people to, because REI here didn't have like a rental option for a while. I don't know if they have now, but there was a while there where they were allowing for rentals, and it would give people the opportunity to experience whatever it was they were hoping to do, and then without having to pay the full cost of buying something. So this is really great. I really love that. Very cool. And we have such a great park system around here as well.
We totally do.
Yeah. so many different experiences. Like you can go out to the coast, you can go up into the mountains, and there's so many different things that you can enjoy.
So many. And this will get you started. Actually, when the program started, we were also included like water bottles because some people don't even have their own water bottle.
Right. Yeah.
And that was something that after they checked it out, they got to keep the water bottle and we just had a supply until they ran out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You need to find a one of these companies like Camelback or something like that will donate, 10,000 water bottles or something like that. And,
that would be incredible.
That would be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So we got the backpack connected with the East Bay system. Anything else that we're missing? You said there's probably more than we could probably talk about.
Probably more.
Yeah.
There's just so many things. And I just say, go out to your local library, see what they have to offer. We have a lot of staff who, just ask them like, hey, what is your favorite thing about the library? Or what is something unique that I don't know about?
Yeah.
But check us out online. So aclibrary.org.
Okay.
We have all of our e-resources, e-books, databases, all the things.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'm inspired. Like, I think that I'm going to take advantage of these things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you guys are not just... I kind of said it a little bit before, but you're not just inspiring people, but you're providing resources for people to be able to do exactly whatever it is that they're interested in, hopefully from their reading. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah. Out of all of these things, do you do any of these personally? Is there anything that you enjoy the most?
Well, it actually started like when I worked at Centerville and we were opening the garden. I definitely have, I'm a plant person now. I propagate and I do all of the things. So
that's cool.
But I also am a fan of hiking and things like that. So
that's awesome.
Get out there.
That's right. That's right. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. This was awesome. And I do hope that we can come back. Like if we can, as things develop and more programs come about, I think it'd be great to kind of do a check-in and see where we are and do this again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This episode was hosted and produced by Ricky B. I'm Gary Williams. Andrew Cavett is the editor. Rachel Prey is the print editor in charge of our newsletter. Scheduling and pre-interviews by Sarah S. Additional reporting by Mark Emmons. Music provided by Soundstripe.com. You can find everything we make, the podcast, our newsletter, and all of our social media links at thefremontpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you listen so you don't miss an episode. And if you would, please leave a review on iTunes. Your reviews help other people find this podcast. Join us next week on the Fremont Podcast.
No, everything is free.
Wow.
So that's one of the big perks about the library. Everything we do is free.
Wow.
This is a Muggins Media podcast.